Greetings everybody, and welcome to my nice, warm and dry, albeit slightly compact accommodation. It was video 44, getting on for 2 years ago, that I last talked about what I had in my bag. This thing. So in that 2 years, lots of things have happened, lots of decisions have been made, and the bag itself is very different, let alone its contents. So I know some people say that these sorts of things aren't very popular, but I actually quite like them. I always have an interest in what people have and why people have various bits of kit. So I'm going to do another What's in My Bag, 2 years on from the last one. So we'll point the camera down at the floor and we'll get everything out, and I'll talk you all through what I've got and why. So let me get the bag down. So let's start with the bag itself, which is from Vanguard. This is a VEO53 active. Really nice bag. I might do another video about just the bag and why I chose it. But for me, this bag ticks all the boxes, especially as I've moved more towards full frame cameras. If we just undo the top pouch, then I've got in here, I've got an umbrella, a portable umbrella, very useful out in the landscape. And I've got my rain cover from JJC, my RI5 rain cover. That's all I have in that top pouch, because I will then use this for bottles of water, whatever else it is I need when I'm out and about. This slot is empty and free. There is another pouch down here as well, which I don't think that's got anything in it. No, it hasn't. But that's where I tend to put the tripod. And then this one has got a little accessory bag in it. And what I'll do is I'll come to the accessory bag right at the end of the video, because there's all sorts of bits and pieces in that. So let's move to the back and open up the main storage compartment, which opens like so. So you can probably see there's two slots here. In this top one, I would have my kneeling mat, which is currently behind me drying. And I've also got a head torch, which is a Tactica Plus. Not a particularly expensive torch. It does tend to eat batteries, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. But anyway, always handy to have a head torch and a kneeling mat as well. But as I say, that's drying over there because it got a wee bit wet. Right, so main contents. One Sigma FPL with a contemporary 28-70 lens and also the optional EVF. And then on the bottom I've got an L bracket here from Pig Iron. Yeah, it does the job. As far as I'm aware, there's not a native L bracket for this camera, so it did take a little bit of finding to find one that would work okay with this camera. My wide angle lens, this is a Canon 17-40mm f4 lens. This is the L variant, but I've got an adapter, an MC21 adapter from Sigma, and that allows me to use a Canon EF lens on an L mount camera. So that's my wide angle lens. At the longer end, I have another Canon offering. This is a 70-200 f4L, which has stabilization. And again, I'm using it through an MC21 adapter. And it works perfectly fine. apart from the autofocus, tends to hunt quite a bit. I don't know whether that's the lens that's at fault there or whether it's the combination of the lens through the adapter and the camera, but yeah, it does its job there. Moving to this other pocket, I've got a small lens cleaning cloth and I've got a remote shutter release. I didn't go for the Sigma own brand. This is from a company called JJC because it was relatively cheap and relatively inexpensive. I don't use it very often, if I'm being brutally honest. I tend to use a self-timer more than one of these, which again is why I didn't necessarily want to spend a huge amount of money on it. In this pouch, I've got my viewing aid, my view catcher, which I've featured on this channel before. And then I've got two circular polarizers, one for a 77 millimeter diameter, and then one for an 82 millimeter diameter. They're just useful to have without having to go, if I can actually get into them, without having to go through all the faff of the filter ring and all the rest of it. I can literally pop this straight onto the front and use it as a polarizer. So it's a quick and dirty way of being able to use a polarizer. Not quite sure why I've got an 82 millimeter one. Is that for that lens? No, that's 77 as well. I must have had an 82 mm lens at some diameter lens at some point, which is why I've still got that. But the 77, I use that quite a bit. Again, just as a quick option if I want a polarizer. That's a spare end cap and body cap. For the 70 to 200 lens, I've also got a 1.4 extender, the matched 1.4 extender. This works, believe it or not, with the MC21. So I put this on the back of that and then the MC21 and it works perfectly fine. Again, notwithstanding the autofocus being a little bit on the hunting side. This is my lens pouch from Lee Filters. And in here I think I've got just about everything. So I've got a selection of lens rings. I've got a 72, a 77 and an 82. And then I've got an adapter ring to go from 67 to 82. That's on that last one. And that's because the 28 to 70 lens, which is the lens I use the most, that has a 67 millimeter thread. In here I also have the obligatory holder. I've got the circular polarizer, which is in here, and then I have a range of filters. So I'm not sure if that's going to come across on the camera or not. So that's your sunset strip or horizon strip filter. That's from a company called Hyder. It's a red diamond horizon 1.2. That's because I was able to pick it up relatively cheaply off eBay. I then have a case, grey hard grad, that's at 0.75, which you can see that there on the yellow. I won't spend too much time on these. What's that? Oh, that's one of the new case, two filters in one type situation. So I've got a medium gradual grey, and then on the other side a reverse grad, all in one piece of glass, which is darned useful to have. A 6-stop neutral density, just one, just to slow things down. And then the last filter in the case is a 0.6 medium grad. So this is a 2-stop medium grad. And that's it. That's all the filters I've got. And I've got to say, I don't need anything else. I've gradually built this up with experience as and when I've needed, or I felt that I needed to have more options. So just moving on to this pouch, I've got a range of things in this pouch. So I've got spare batteries for my FPL. I have 2 in here currently because there's 2 on charge. I've got a one of these lens ring grippy things that allows you to get hold of your filter and undo it. A couple of spare batteries and lens wipes here, and then in this side I've got one of these photography multi-tool things. I got the one from Leo Photo, which I'm hoping you can see there, that's got Allen keys. I think that's got a bottle opener, all sorts of useful things that are handy out in the landscape when things go wrong. And that's it for that pouch, but I do find that really quite useful to have. And that's it. That is my camera bag emptied out, and that's all the kit that I use. I think it's very easy to carry too much kit. And I've certainly been very guilty of doing that. I'm just going to angle you up so you can see me. Hello. Yeah, I think sometimes it's very easy to carry too much kit, and this arrangement is something that I've landed on gradually over time, and I've kind of honed it and honed it and honed it so that everything I've got here is what I actually need and also what I actually use. But everybody's slightly different, and everybody has different needs, different tastes, different subjects, different preferences, and so on and so forth. But that's it. That's all I wanted to do. I'm just going to bring this down a wee bit. Yeah, that's all I wanted to do. I just wanted to run that through with you very quickly. As usual, I hope it's been useful, and somebody has got some ideas out of what's in my bag. I know I certainly do. And yeah, until the next one, when hopefully we're outside and it's not peeing it down with rain, take care everybody, stay safe and stay well, and I shall see you on the next video. Bye for now. Take care. Now I've got to put all this away again. Ugh. I might have to watch the video as to where it all went. That's nuts.